Hello listeners, I'm DMJGR and this is another episode of Wreckage, an RPG podcast. Thank you for your support and tuning in. And remember, if you enjoy the show, please leave us a review. It might bring another listener into our fold to follow our tale from the world of Uri. So, let us begin. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Wreckage RPG. Welcome back. So last time around we found Jeremy, but we've got a few mysteries to sort of work our way through. But before we get going on this week's episode, just another thank you to Syrinscape for letting me use all their lovely soundboards for free, or the basic ones anyway. It's pretty good, nice little bit of background noise, and yes, it's free to use some of those basic things, so that's all grand. And obviously Green Ronin Publishing for producing, again, such a great system that we are enjoying playing our campaign with. So, are we all ready to go?
Ready.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so let us begin. Here we go. Last time around, our adventurers found themselves hot on the heels of the raiders who stole Jeremy, the beloved sheep. They have arrived at Tosca to find that some of the local farmers were also hit the previous night, the same night that the coach house was also hit. Here, in Tosca, the group met Theo, the leader of the local militia, who told them that the militia have little interest in getting involved. People got to die before that happens. The people are going to survive, and Theo was pretty confident that the raiders will leave. Or the wealthy region can just hire mercenaries to deal with the problem. And that's where a little brainwave came to him. With mutual interest, he thought, hang on a second, maybe these adventurers will sort my problem out for me with a bit of coin. And after a little bit of negotiation and 3 days mercenary pay on the table, our group decided that it was a good idea to sign up and start getting paid out here in the Auron coast. They also did need to find Jeremy, and also Tink's fur cloaks. Their investigation led them to the Slate Peak Forest, a few hours northeast of Tosca, and a little bit closer to the coast. The expanse of woodland and striking peaks of rocks erupting from the ground is really quite dense, and there's no local inhabitants apart from the wildlife. In all honesty, a perfect place to hide. In the early hours of the second morning of their search, and with a little bit of help from some faith, they stumbled across a small camp. They could see it was built from a couple of small boats and a hastily built wooden palisade wall. Soon, the group found themselves on the cusp of some combat with some scouts on the walls, their bows drawn and ready to loose. Before a blonde-haired woman approached, calmed the raiders, and, to their surprise, invited the group into their camp. When the group went into the camp, it seemed a blind woman knew the group. She had seen them all. Well, all except Gillis. She beckoned for them to come and sit at the fire at the centre of the camp, and turned to the people around her and ordered them to get some food and drink. You take in the inside of the camp for the first time. There's some makeshift tents, small pens of sheep over to one side, and barrels being filled with grain. There's warriors leaning shields and spears against the wooden wall, and there's scouts checking their gear, and families, children, watching on at the commotion that they were woken up by. Some of them wrapped in luxurious fur coats. As you make your way to the fire, what would you like to do?
Mac is running over to the sheep.
Okay.
Shouting, Jeremy!
So as you sort of just bolt off towards the sheep, the sort of everybody's like watching you just run towards, shouting Jeremy at the sheep, and as you run towards this pen of about 5 or 6 sheep, there's one that sort of just turns its head towards you and trots over to the side of the fence and sort of just looks up at you. And it looks perfectly happy and content, and if the sheep could bring a beaming smile on your arrival, that's what you're seeing.
I'm gonna grab him, scoop him up in my arms, and give him a cuddle.
And I would like you to roll an animal handling check, please.
Just goes full John Cena on it.
Oh, okay, that's good. Animal handling is... I don't think I have anything for it. But anyway, that's 13 on the dice with a double 6.
Nice. Okay, so as you pick up Jeremy, you manage to squeeze him just the right amount, not too hard, but also not too soft, and sort of as you do so, he sort of snuggles its head into your neck, and you sort of like as you're doing this, the rest of you are sort of like looking around, and everybody's kind of like just looking quite bemused at this orc hugging a sheep. This big burly orc just holding onto the sheep. But it looks like a happy reunion.
So at this point, Tink is going to notice the finery of his that is being worn by these raiders. Are we still near the blind woman?
Yeah, she's sort of at the moment. So the fireplace is right in the centre of the camp. The sheep pen is just over in sort of like one of the corners of the palisade wall. They've sort of built this little area. Sort of where you are in the centre, there's the fireplace, and there's a couple of cooking sort of pots nearby as well. There's 2 sort of small boats that are overturned. They're not like full long ships. They're sort of like smaller boats. But they've been sort of overturned, and they've got sails just sort of across the front of them, sort of acting as like a little cover. And sort of as you sort of take in the rest of the camp, you also see like there's these makeshift wooden teepees. There's sort of these lean-tos on the side made out of sails and wood. And sort of the woman that you saw, that sort of the blind woman with the leather wraps around her hands and the black blindfold, she's just sort of making her way towards one of the small boats, and she's sort of walking her way in, and she's sort of talking to a few people nearby, and they sort of hurry off towards the grains and food supplies on the side, and they sort of seem to be sort of doing her bidding. She's walking off that way. The other 2 people that you can see in front of you is there's the tall, strong woman, the sort of the one who calmed the raiders at the start and sort of introduced herself as Sachi last time round. And there's also the big burly man as well, who sort of stood like with a surly look on his face. You can see he's a little bit bemused by what's going on, but he's sort of going with it. But he's the big, massive one that sort of matches almost Mac for size and is slightly bigger.
So I think Tink at this point is going to lean forward to Sachi and say, "Pardon me, miss. Where were these coats acquired from that these younglings are wearing?"
And she sort of turns to you and goes, "Well, on our way in from the coast, there was a supply train heading up towards one of your cities, and we hit it on our way through because we thought it might have some supplies, and with winter coming in, the coats were useful. But we let the people on their way. We just took what we needed."
These are illicit goods. These were meant for various clients of mine up in the north. Why have you procured them?
Well, because otherwise we'd get cold. That's what coats are for.
But you must use trade and legal means to acquire such goods. You cannot just steal them from a wagon train.
And sort of at this moment, you sort of hear this. You know that we're raiders. Usually, that's our people. Reputation, not a good one we have.
For raiders, why bring your families though? It was my understanding that raiders travel lightly, steal and pillage, and then leave. They don't bring their families with them.
And the sort of big burly man, it's sort of like you can see that there's a little bit of a language barrier for him, and he's sort of like his sentences are a little bit deconstructed. He goes, "Ugh, she'll explain. Yes." And he sort of walks off in sort of like this grumpy mood and into the other little tent onto the side, and sort of Sachi just beckons to the small sort of. They've got a couple of rags and sails and sort of small wooden, a couple of small wooden carved stools just arranged around this campfire, and she sort of says, "Look, please sit. We'll feed you and provide you with some warm drink? I mean, it's a cold, fresh morning, and let's talk about some of these things.
Very well.
And so she sort of beckons to you, and she sort of takes a seat on a small pile of little rags, sort of shakes off some of the early morning frost, and plants herself down and beckons for you all to sit sort of expectantly, and sort of, do you want to invite your friend over as well?
These are not my friends.
Very well.
Acquaintances.
Acquaintances. You are acquaintances, please. Would you like to sit, please?
And
she sort of beckons out for you.
Tink kind of...
Let's call Mac over.
Tink just kind of like claps, like as if he's summoning a servant.
Yeah, so what Gillis would like to do is just sort of a bit of like tactical awareness, really. I mean, I know we're in their camp and they've got their kids and stuff, so it's not likely to kick off. But if it was going to, sort of like, how knackered would we be? How many fighting men and stuff are?
Okay, so
raiders?
I'd say they're being quite open at the moment. So as you sort of look around, there's a number of families. There's probably about 5 or 6 families around. As you sort of look behind you, there are 2 guards sort of sat by the sort of entranceway, because they've sort of got this open gate. Sort of as you look out in that sort of direction, they've got a small paddock of horses just to the side, where there's sort of 2 groups. There's a couple like sorting out some spears and shields. There's probably about 5 or 6 warriors down there. As you look over there, you do see one person just sat. He is huge. Like, you thought the guy that was sort of greeting you was big. This guy's bigger. He is, he sat down, but he almost looks taller than the man that greeted you. He's got a huge torso, and his armour sort of looks like the size of a normal man's armour would sort of fit on his arm. He's got like muddy and tattered clothes on his feet, and sort of everybody seems to be giving him a little bit of a wide berth. But he's got a large next to him. There's a large wooden shield that's got sort of these wolf fangs painted intricately onto its front, and then there's an axe to the side that you feel that to most people would be wielded with 2 hands, but have a concern that this person could probably wield it with 1.
So do I recognise these raiders as the sort of guys I've in my visions?
No.
Okay, cool.
There's similarities.
So I'm not gonna get too edgy about them.
There's similarities, but they're not quite what you saw in your vision, though.
Cool. I'm gonna allow myself to relax a bit more now that I realise that if they wanted to kill us, they probably would have done it by now, just with that giant dude, and set him on us. So I'll take the offer of warm food and drink. That'd be good. Because I'm not sure if anyone remembers, but Gillis was rudely awakened not long ago and hasn't slept since.
So sort of as you're starting to take your seat, there is this sort of young woman comes across with with sort of 6 tankards, sort of 3 held in each hand. They're sort of these just wooden tankards, but they're a bit of a mixture. There's a couple wooden, sort of like very basic design. There's a couple more intricate ones. It's not a matching set. Feel like they've sort of picked these up from various places recently. And she brings them down. She sort of passes one to Sachi, and then sort of offers you these drinks.
Tink will politely decline
thank you very much for that.
I am an Orient. I do not require sustenance.
Okay, she sort of like holds it and sort of then offers it to the others, and
I'll take mine. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
very kind.
She looks at the big orc who's got the sheep next to him and sort of offers him a drink.
I think Mac, smelling food and whatever, will come over and join everyone else by the fire with Jeremy under his arm.
Reunited.
So you're sort of sat there.
Images of them running down the beach together
Yeah.
in slow motion.
And Sachi sort of looks at you all and goes, please enjoy. It's not much, it's just some herbal hot water, but hopefully it will raise your spirits. But yes, I'm sure you have a lot of questions, and you, Metal Man, what is your name?
I am Tink.
So,
Taylor tribe.
Tink of the Taylor tribe. Well,
No, just the
we
tribe.
are the tribe.
I am a Taylor.
Well, oh, you're a tailor. Ooh, some of the families might ask you for some help. You know, and since
I
they
don't
are
believe
your
they could
coats-
afford my rates.
Well, okay, fair enough. And she sort of like awkwardly, I'll answer your question anyway. So we arrived 2 weeks ago. As said, we came across your camp, and we're the Skalvold clan from the Iceborne Isles. How can we say? We fled our home in the Iceborne Isles due to some disagreements.
What were these disagreements?
Well, maybe we'll get to know each other a little bit more before then. I think Alsa needs to talk to you a little bit more before I can divulge. We've got to build some form of trust between us.
Very well. Then we shall
So
endeavour
tell
to
me-
earn your trust.
Yeah, well, that would be good. So
And
tell
perhaps
me,
get my
what do
coats
you-
back.
Yeah, well, we'll see if our situation may be. You might want to gift those coats to us, but we'll see. We'll see if there's some
I
trade.
highly doubt that.
Well, I'm sure
Consummate professional.
You can definitely have fun trying to get the one off Ogun, because he might not give his coat up so nicely, and you might not want that one back. He's got a bit of a smell problem.
Oh my. And Tink kind of just like
Yes,
looks back, sort of taken aback, and just kind of just stares quietly after that.
So I'm going to ask her, sort of, how long do you envisage, your people staying in this area?
And she sort of looks and goes, well, if our seer is correct, this is our home.
You're not doing very well with making it a safe home. You're raiding the local lands. You're annoying a lot of the indigenous population. The militia currently aren't doing much, but they will hire mercenaries in the end up. So you can't carry on raiding in these areas
And she sort of looks around and goes,
unless you want to get moved on.
well, in the last 2 weeks, we've managed to get ourselves enough to last the winter. But, yes, I think I'll leave your questions for Alsa. I can't say more. And she sort of turns around and says, Alsa, I think we need you to talk to them. And this sort of woman comes back out of her tent, and she's holding this bowl of trinkets and things. She just walks back across and sits down, sort of looks at you all, even though there's no eyes. She just sort of stares around at you all. She picks up these bones, and you sort of see them in her hand. She just drops them into the bowl, sort of moves them around. She pulls out a knife, cuts her hand, and drops some blood into it, and sort of starts scooping it up. And she goes, yes, these are the ones. These are the ones. Yes, these three. I do not know him. And sort of pointing at Gillis. But these three. These are the three I have seen. Yes. They are the ones that I've seen, yes. And sort of, Sachi turns to her and goes, this is Alsa, our seer. And she is why we are here, and why you are currently not dead.
A curious development.
Elsa,
thank
can you tell us? You say you've seen us, or at least three of us. How can this be? I've never seen you before in my life.
Yes. Yes, I've seen you, I have. Yes. You beautiful armour, fiery swords, fighting back darkness. You are a savior. You protect. That is what you do, yes? And you're searching for something, yes?
I very well might be, but
Aren't we all?
this doesn't explain. This doesn't explain how you've seen us.
So at this
I've
point,
seen your face.
Tink will sort of turn. My friends, could it be she is referring to the incident with the box in the cave? Who's on fire?
It's sorted.
Fire alarm!
Making toast downstairs. Sorry. We'll burn a bit.
Yeah,
She
Tink.
sort of, at this moment, sort of Elsa looks around and goes, yes. What? And she sort of like mystically looks at you and just goes, about a month ago, 2 months maybe, I saw you first time.
Galen, this could refer to that box that you destroyed in the cave.
Yes, it could. It could indeed. But why would she see us? What caused this vision to occur?
She sort of looks at you and goes, when I sleep, I see things. I see things. When I sleep, I see these mountains. I see this place. I see this safety. This is where our clan must come to weather the storm.
So I look across to
weather the storm.
Sachi and say, you are basing your entire tribe's future on her.
On a mad
And
woman.
Sachi like looks up at you and goes, You do not know much of the Iceborn, do you? You don't really know
No,
who we
definitely
are.
not.
Well, please.
Currently,
please
you're a bunch
inform
of
us.
robbers.
We obviously don't.
And she sort of looks around and goes, well, as you can see, we are fleeing our land, and I'm sure some of you know that many of the raiders are bigger than man. Well, some say that we're descended from giants, and we have scriptures that say that this land was once the giants' land. And technically, one could say that who's the real raiders here? Is it us or is it you?
It is you.
She sort
You
of,
can't fault Mac's logic. You just admitted to us you raided a caravan. So.
and she goes,
Awkward.
but difference between raiding and killing, like some of our other clans do, to raiding to survive. But we'll see.
You mentioned you're fleeing. What are you fleeing?
She sort of looks at Elsa and just says, disagreements. Let's say that the ruling lords of the Iceborn clans are taking some of them in a direction that we do not want to be a part of. And, well, Elsa here, not long after that started to happen, maybe a year or so ago, began to have visions of this place, and we are, how can we say, we believe the words of our seers, they guide us. And she goes, yes, guide, we do, we guide, yes, you three, you lead, ooh. And she sort of like looks and points towards Tink and goes, yes, him, metal man, so good to recognise. Yes, and the orc, he troubles me though, this one I do not see him. Anyway, and she sort of goes back and sort of starts looking at her bones and things, and sort of picks them up and throws them down one more time and goes, test them we must. They must show us trust. And Sachi sort of turns back and says, are you sure? And she goes, yes, sure I am. And she sort of picks up her bones and sort of walks off back to her tent.
Did you say
So-
earlier that the seer was blind?
She has
Am I-
a black blindfold on.
It's probably
And as she
semi-see-through.
walks, she walks, she basically has the staff that's made of stone and the metal blades that sort of come together into a point. She sort of uses that to sort of stumble around, but she sort of just moves around like it's almost as if she's not blind, but she's got a blindfold on. And yes, you could have the doubt that it's see-through. It's all a show, but yeah, she sort of just seems to be going around.
Yeah, so as Gillis is pretty good with divination himself, so he uses a lot of blood magic and things like that. So looking at her doing her ritual, did it seem that it was a legit magical ritual, or was it sort of like a bit of a show? And yeah, am I getting the gist that she knows her stuff, or is she just a mental case?
Okay, so I would say with your background in the Briarthorn, sort of that kind of circle, it's similar to some of the things that you have seen in your youth, but the people that you saw do it were doing it in a much more controlled manner.
Right. So yeah, it's probably strong, legit magic of a fashion. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure she wasn't pulling the wool over these people. That's ironic because she's got a wool blindfold, actually.
Your seer just mentioned a test. What test is she talking about?
And Sachi looks back and goes, it'll probably be the brew. The brew will confirm whether you are worthy.
Tink kind of looks at the rest of the group. Gentleman and Mac, it would appear to me, if I may posit a theory, that these people were ousted from their lands due to their more peace-loving nature compared with what we know of Iceborne raiders.
No, they're still stealing from the local populace.
Tink, I think you're onto something. Your
Peaceful
observation
Iceborne,
seemed astute.
This is one for the books.
And it's
the issue that we have here, though, that we're presented with. Let's lay everything on the table, right? You've come out from a conflict-driven region where you've got a disagreement with other raiders. You've now brought conflict to another region whereby you're saying you're peace-loving and just trying to survive.
And you have stolen a sheep.
And yes, you are correct. You are right, Mac. They have stolen a sheep. Correct. That's correct and right.
Double
combining the two words together.
She goes, correct. Correct. That is a good word. A good word. Correct.
Affirma-correct.
Correct. And she sort of looks up, and Sachi's sort of like her. You know, she's got a strong look to her face, and she can clearly be thinking, and she looks up and goes, I understand where you are coming from, but I assure you, everything that we have done so far has been to survive, and I can say that maybe if you pass this test and you are worthy of our trust, that maybe we can divulge more as to why we are here. And maybe there can be a deal that is struck that all parties can benefit from.
I think you need to pass our test so we know we trust you.
And she sort of says, what would be your test?
At this point, Galen's going to lean over to Mac and go, what? Like whisper in his ear, what test, Mac?
It is the trial of the brew.
And she sort of looks at you and goes, you have a brew too?
Yes. You have to pass
Gillis at this point is sort of just looking around thinking this is one of those shared experiences you three had that he hasn't got a clue about, and that there really is a brew.
So, very well. If you wish to supply your brew, we will supply ours, and we will see if we are worthy for each other.
Very good.
This has taken a turn.
It seems like we have unfortunately drawn the short straw by having an Orion with us who cannot drink. human liquids.
And she sort of turns.
I am
and goes,
able to process human liquids. However, I have no need to. If the situation
Human liquid
demands
just
it.
sounds wrong. Can we change that?
And she sort of looks and goes, well, we shall see how the brew affects you.
If it is a custom, I am able to partake.
It is very much a custom. And sort of at this moment, sort of as you've been talking, you sort of hear this, yes, 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 just come from out from the tent, and she sort of like just pushes back the sail from one of the boats, and you sort of see that there was little cooking pots, and you sort of get a quick little glance inside, but not much more. And she sort of comes out with this little tray and sort of staggers along with her staff, and she sort of places them down next to the fire and goes, 4 drinks, 4 people. Yes, 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 yes. The test.
This is
right,
Peyote.
Mac
We're in
is
for a
going-
wild ride.
He's going to grab a cup from somewhere.
And sort of as you look around, you've got the mug that you had your warm drink in. There's that.
All right.
Still got
He's
it.
going to go over to Gillis and just go, I may not have thought this through. I don't have any brew.
There's no brew. You just said... But why's no one else piped in? You just said there was a brew. What are we going to do?
Mac turns his back on the people and puts one finger to his nose and clears his sinuses into the cup.
That's a whole heap worse than I was expecting.
Yeah. Gillis's jaw's just on the floor like... I live in the woods and that is disgusting.
Tink is kind of doing that sort of back and forth look, but he just doesn't know where to look at this point.
And at this point, there's going, and you can sort of see, sort of as you turn back round, you can sort of kind of see the facial expressions on Sachi. Is just sort of like a very quizzical kind of like her face is slightly moved and goes, "Is this your brew?"
I'm going to just knock the cup out of Mac's hand. We didn't bring any brew with us. It was back in Tovska.
And she goes, "Okay."
What an image.
Well,
You might want to clean that cup.
sort of like this. There's a wonderful moment where, and you can sort of almost see that Ulcer's like completely oblivious to all this going on. There's just people laughing and like slight confusion going on, and she's just like, "The test? Yes, test." And she sort of like reaches down and picks up and holds out these cups towards each of you.
Well, I'll pick up a
Tink will
cup.
take one.
I guess
It
Mac
just
will take one as well.
Going to give it a cursory sort of smell.
Okay, roll a smelling check.
Ooh.
Ooh. Jesus, where's my phone? I've got to... Ah, there it is. Forgot there's dice. I got 15.
Ooh.
And 2 6s.
Okay.
And the stunt
Right.
number is 3. I'm so good at smelling.
Okay, cool.
Smell the hell out of that.
So I'm just so you sort of have a slight aroma that comes up, and you get this sense of floral aroma. Feels like it's a mixture of herbs, seeds, petals,
Mucus.
It's very it's got a lot of stuff in it. Clearly. A lot of different things.
Will
Okay.
a visual check confirm anything or reveal anything?
Okay. As you have a little look in, I'd like you to roll a perception check.
Okay.
As you're looking at it. Seeing.
Not great. 4, 5, 6, 7 plus my perception. Only 8.
So as you sort of like look down on yours, the steam's coming off the top and it's sort of obscuring what's actually inside the mixture. You can sort of just see there's a liquid there, but this sort of hot brew is just like blocking you. So just like looking at it, it looks like any hot drink that you've ever seen.
Steamed
in your
up his eye lenses.
Is the smell
so
pleasant?
I'm going to look at them and go, if we pass this test, what is going to happen? And if we fail the test, what is going to happen?
And she says, part of the test is for you to find out.
That
Is there
sounds like a
Sorry.
rubbish reward for passing a test. Like, you just got to find out. This is like
If you pass the test, you will be deemed worthy, and you will earn our trust. If you don't,
Have you done this test?
have I done this test? It is a culture amongst our warrior folk that we do this test. Yes.
Well, chaps, it's been nice knowing you, and I'm just Galen's gonna neck it.
Okay. So he picks it up, necks back the drink, and it's warm, and it feels very relaxing as you drink through, and it's got a really nice taste to it. It's sweet, tastes like a bit like honey. Tastes quite
Gillis
nice.
is going to hold his cup to his face
Sit
and
back.
just sort of watch everyone else as
Tink
they
kind of
drink.
holds the cup up and then just dips a finger in, and you just see it drain.
It drains out, and again, as you sort of like process it,
The groinal
it's
attachment.
got a nice sweet flavour to it, and it's sort of warming, and it warms your gears inside your body. Feels quite nice.
Yeah, Mackle, having seen no one die yet from drinking it, will down it.
Okay, and down the drink, and again get that nice warm sensation sort of flowing through your body, and you start to feel a little bit tense in your shoulders. Just to start with, like your muscles are pulsing a bit.
Is it like when Popeye ingests spinach? It's suddenly like massive muscles appear on his arms and legs.
I've got images of this massive orc, like one of those TV evangelists, just sort of shaking with the power.
Is Gillis still watching?
He's going to take a good 30 seconds to watch what happens to everyone else before he downs his.
The only thing you see is you sort of see Max sort of like stretching his shoulders a little bit. Everybody else just sort of seems to be sat down. And Sachi is there, just smiling, looking at you all.
Okay, so he's going to take his as well.
He drinks it.
In a wanna.
We're all dead.
Turns to you and goes,
Good adventure, guys.
You
Quick save.
you might want to just get a little bit comfortable. And sort of looks at you all.
I knew it. We're being
And
drugged.
it's at this moment that Galen, being the first to drink this, you feel the warmth turn from sweetness to sour to hot, and it's almost like you've just ingested a chili and it's stuck in your throat. It burns, it's painful, and knocks you out like a light.
Oh shit.
Shortly after, Tink, you feel the same sensation, but this time in all of your gears and cogs just start to seize and stop moving, and you shut down.
It's literally just frozen in a sitting position.
Mac, you start to tense. Your body locks up. Your whole body, every muscle tenses. You drop Jeremy, and you're just because it just as your muscles tense and fall out, and you sort of like bolt upright, just fall over onto the side. And as you do so, you do hear Gillis, because you're the last one awake. You just hear this, ha 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 ha, the big guy. And at the moment you hear this laughing, you feel that same sensation of heat and warmth, and it gets hotter and hotter and hotter. It burns and burns and burns, and then almost like a light, you just switch off. Now,
My last thought before going unconscious is I would have preferred Max Brew, I think.
so, Galen, you find yourself walking down some stairs. You bring out a torch from your side, and you raise it up around you. There's nobody with you. There's nobody with you. And you don't really know how you got here. You don't really recognise the place. It's dark and cold. But you're just walking down these steps. What would you like to do?
I'm going to carry on walking.
Okay. As you carry on walking down the steps, you keep moving down, and you sort of start to raise your torch up. And you see along the side of the walls there are some sort of torches in place. And there's also sort of shields just on the side, sort of just hung up.
Okay. Is there anything on the shields? Can I see anything?
So as you look on,
of note?
hold your torch up to the shield. It's covered in cobwebs, and it's old, really old and ancient looking. What you do recognise on it is you do see an emblem, very faint in the centre, and it's the emblem of the Ember Order.
This is like Nightmare, right? There's either going to be a massive saw blade coming out of the darkness, or a jester with the riddle.
Okay, I'm gonna pull the torch back down and keep on walking.
Keep
a bit further.
Keep walking down, and sort of it gets colder and more damp the more steps you take, and you sort of hear the drops and drips of you hear the drops and drips of things as you sort of step down. It's uncomfortable. You don't know how you got here, and you sort of look around, and you can just about see, maybe a few metres in front of you, the room starts to open up.
At this point, I think Galen's gonna take a moment of respite. He's gonna pray to the Lord of Flame, and see if he can get some guidance on what he should do, where he is, and let his faith guide him.
I would like you to roll a faith check, please.
Uh, 11 with a double.
Nice.
Faith is on willpower,
Yep.
so probably 12, 13, I think.
Okay.
Let me just check my faith. Sorry, my willpower. Willpower 2, yes, so 8, 9, 11, 13.
Nice. So as you sort of
And a double.
make your way down, you sort of drop to your knees for a second and just think. And as you open your eyes and look up, you see in front of you there's just a sarcophagus, and it's glowing, as if being lit by some unseen force. And the rest of the room is just darkness.
So I will stand up and proceed to the coffin, the sarcophagus.
So as you start walking towards it, you hear this great scratching noise, like metal on stone. Just... And as you make your way towards the sarcophagus, holding up your torch in front of you, this decayed man in dull gold armour, holding a double-bladed axe, just strolls into your side of view, and it just turns and looks up at you. I'd like you to roll initiative, please.
Uh-oh.
What's initiative? Is it?
It's
3d6
3d6 plus your dexterity.
17.
17. Nice, okay. So you're up first. What would you like to do?
So I am going to move towards said decaying creature, put my guard up, and I'm going to speak to it. I'm going to say, "Who are you?"
Okay. So on its turn, it sort of like slumps, and sort of looks up at you, draws the axe across the ground, scraping it as it moves, brings it up onto its shoulder. I am your end. And it just brings it up and starts charging towards you. So it's going to try and hit you. It rolled an amazing 4. So it just brings this blade down towards you, and with your guard up, you just sort of deflect it off to one side. And it's just there, ready for another swipe. What are you going to do?
So at this point, I'm going to pull out my my maul I'm going to say, "You shall not be my end, creature," and smack it back.
So, roll to hit.
5, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's on fighting with bludgeons. So, actually have this. So 5, 9, 10, and 12. I've got 15 if it's on my fight. And what's the focus give me?
Focus gives you +2.
Okay, 17.
17, yep, that hits. Roll damage.
1d6 plus 3. 6 damage.
6 damage, nice. Okay, so as you bring down the blade, bring down your maul, and you sort of smack it across the side, it sort of roars in anger, and it sort of comes to bring its blade up in another hit. So it rolls 9.
Do I need to roll defense?
No, what is your defense value?
My defense value is 12.
Yeah, so it misses again. So it sort of brings this blade round again, but the sort of slow, cumbersome movements of this being, it's sort of you're managing to sort of just step out the way. What would you like to do?
So I'm going to again attack. I'm going to say, "I'm a priest of the Ember Order. You shall not pass."
Okay, as you do that, what I'd like you to do is, can you make a faith test, please?
Faith test, yep, sure. 9, 10, 12.
12? Okay, fantastic. So as you shout, "You shall not pass!" your maul just ignites in flame, and you bring it down. I'd like you to roll to hit, please.
It's pretty badass.
10, 13, 15.
15? Yeah, that hits. Roll damage.
Wait, is that good flame or bad flame? Like, is it on...
7.
It's actually just burning up in his hand.
Oh, I think we...
Just imagine he goes to swing his hammer and
Roll
catches
7.
fire. Oh God! And drops it.
7. Okay, I'd like you to roll an extra 2d6.
Starts stamping on his
please.
hammer.
2d6. 3.
3.
Oh, no.
Nice. That's 10 in total. Okay, fantastic. So as you sort of like shout out sort of towards your god, it sort of ignites the end of your maul in this flame, and it smacks into the side of his face, and the flame almost just like crawls from your maul onto his face and just burns across the side. He just looks back up and goes to hit you again. That's a little bit better this time. That's 12, which is just enough, I believe, to hit you. So
Yeah, I'm 12.
he is going to do plus 2, so that is 7 points of damage. So minus your armor rating from that, and that's how many hit points you take.
Cool. Yep.
Okay, so it's back to you, and he's got like your maul. You look down at your maul, and the flame has gone from it.
Okay. I'm going to proceed to try and... I guess I want to try and get this guy on the floor. I want to try and knock him down, but I think I need a stunt for that. So I'm just going to continue to melee attack him because I don't think there's anything to do that. So melee attack it is. Oh, I've got my stunt. Yeah, 10, 11, 12, 17 again.
17.
With
Yeah,
a
that
stunt.
hits.
With a stunt on a 5.
Nice.
So let's get this guy on the floor. Because I do so knock prone,
Yeah.
and a disarm at the same time.
Okay.
So as I knock him down, I'm just gonna like smash his kind of axe across the floor.
Okay. So you knock his axe
Sorry?
across the floor. So you sort of bring it up, and he's sort of there, knocks it to the floor, and it falls down onto the ground, lying prone in front of you. And it sort of kneels and looks up at you and goes, "Die." And I'd like you to make a willpower test, please.
Jesus. Fail this and you die.
15.
So, as you sort of feel this overwhelming sort of energy just emanate out this creature's voice, you sort of weather the storm as if like this shield of faith just came up and protect you. You only take 3 points of direct damage, which goes past your armour.
Cool.
Here's your go.
And now he's on the floor. I'm gonna just try and cave his skull and smash this guy to
Roll to
pieces.
hit. And as he's prone, you get +2 extra to your roll as well.
Nice. Well, I've definitely hit. So 5, 11, 12, 17 again.
Blimey. Galen is on.
19, sorry.
19, okay. So roll your damage.
9 damage.
9 damage. Nice. Okay. So, it's gonna crawl up, and it's sort of in its go. It's gonna stand up once more, despite the wailing of mauls that are hitting it. So it's just gonna launch itself at you with its claws, and it's gonna try and bite you at the same time. So the claws rolls a 12 to hit, which just hits. So that will be 7 points of damage. And then its bite misses. So whilst it sort of rakes its claws across your chest, it sort of reaches out to bite you at the same time, and it doesn't quite manage to do. You just manage to move out just in time. Over to you.
Cool. So at this point, I want to get the creature off me, so I'm going to be like, "Get off me, creature!" and just try and grab it and throw it to the ground again.
I would like you to first off make a faith test, please.
Yep. 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm assuming faith is on willpower,
yes,
right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
So 13, and I've got a double.
Nice.
Double
So
5. Is that
just an opposed test there. So as you sort of like say, "Get off me," you don't even have to use strength. It's almost like as you sort of go to rip it away, there's just this pulse of energy that just blasts out from you, knocking it once more to the ground. It knocks it right next to its axe, which it sort of picks up, and it starts to make its way back towards you once more, and it's going to try and hit you with its axe. That is 12 to hit. And that is 12 points of damage.
Ooh.
nice? Okay. So at this point, kind of like staggered, I'm taking some damage, but then I'm starting to realise, like, this thing, you know, I have control over this thing. I guess like, if I was able to take it off me and with a lot of ease, I think this thing doesn't have power over me. This is just my dream. So I'm going to just say to it, "You have no power over me, creature. Get back to your sarcophagus where you belong."
Okay, right, so...
And try and push it backwards.
Nice. So, how are you pushing it backwards? Are you just, like, speaking at it, or...?
He's channeling a Hadouken.
Yeah, I'm going to use my faith
Okay.
to push
Roll,
it back.
roll a faith check again.
10 was at 15.
It's higher than what I've rolled. So as you state this and you sort of, you know, tell it to get back from where it's Ken, you can sort of see this golden light just sort of absorb it a little bit, and it sort of looks pained, expressioned, and I would like you to describe how your faith destroys this creature.
So as I utter the words, like I guess the god of the Ember Order, kind of the god of flame, kind of you could see the words kind of start to kind of crush this being from the inside, and as these kind of parts just start to fall off it, beams of light start to shoot out from its kind of like chest cavity, and it starts to kind of just crush the thing down into like dust, and there's just this like pile of dust left.
So as the light beams come out of this creature's form, sort of blasts into the surrounding room, revealing a gigantic crypt of just complete, you know, there's warriors on the side. You get this flash of light, and that is all you remember. And on to Tink. So, this is strange. You're in Marquee, in your shop, and you're working at your craft, and there's a beautiful fur coat that you're just working on. It's very hazy how you got here. There's no one else around. What do you do?
Continue working on the coat, I guess. He just kind of doesn't really pay it any mind, I would assume.
So, as you sort of continue to work on your coat, some time passes. People walk past your store. And then, one moment, the door begins to open to your store. I'd like you to describe what the person who walks in is greeted by.
So they walk in, and it is a very sort of... it's like a high-end kind of shop of the time. You know, you imagine everything's kind of wood-panelled, and you can see various fabrics and garments kind of on mannequin type things dotted around. You know, the window display is like proper good. You know, it's like Harrods level. Yeah, it's just a very kind of, you know, when you sort of go into these kind of posh tailors that you'd find on like Savile Row and something, it's a bit like that, I would assume, but a bit more contemporary for the time. Tink is kind of up near the back, I guess. He's kind of got a desk, or you know, a work desk, as it were, that he's working away on this thing on up near the back of the shop, and I guess he would sort of carry on working, but also kind of, you know, being an Ori, and he's able to sort of do it whilst not looking almost, and he kind of just looks at the person to greet them.
The woman who's walked into your store, she is in beautiful grand finery. She has a beautiful soft face, dark blue eyes, hair so blonde it's almost white. She's so graceful, it's almost as if she just hovers into the shop. Her footfall very light. Her voice very soft. She just at the user goes, "Ah, Tink, would you be so kind as to make me a beautiful fur coat?" It's at this moment I would like you to make I would like you to make just a general intelligence check, please.
Oh dear. Oh, actually no, my intelligence is pretty good in this system, isn't it? +2 on this, yeah. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12.
Say 12. Okay, it's quite an easy test. You recognise the description of this individual. This is the Queen of the Union Empire, and she has just walked into your shop.
Greetings, my lady. It's very honourable for you to grace me with your presence.
And she goes, "Ah, Tink, it is wonderful to see you again. Please, how is my coat coming along?" And she sort of gestures to the coat that you're currently working on.
And like he's almost like in a state of confusion. He kind of looks at the coat, and it's he's completed working on it. Like, you know, the tools in his fingers and that all kind of retract in. It is ready, my lady.
She goes, please, let me put it on. And she sort of takes it off you. I would like you to make a perception check, please.
Ooh, okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 again.
12's a good roll in this. So, as she takes the coat from you, you see the door of your shop open once more. You see a hooded figure walk into the store. With a roll like 12, you don't really see much about the hooded figure, apart from the fact that there is a blade down by his side, and he's walking with intent towards the Queen.
My good man, if you would please kindly wait your turn, and Tink kind of like steps beyond the Queen, and like kind of puts himself between them, okay. More out of politeness than any sort of chivalry, as it were.
And he looks at you, and I would like you to roll initiative, please.
Ooh. That's plus Dex, isn't it?
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10. Do you know what? I am rolling utter rubbish today. So you get to go first, but you get the impression that the intent of this person in front of you is to like scoot around you and try and get to the Queen.
I guess at this point then he will. It's almost out of character, but I'm guessing at this point he's sensing danger, so he's kind of, and given that this is a queen, he probably knows to like try and physically restrain this guy, so he might just kind of reach out and try and grab this guy by the shoulders to stop him moving.
Okay, so I'd like you to make a strength check, please.
5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Better than me. So as you sort of reach out and you grab this person on the shoulder, and it's like your metallic hand just like digs into his shoulder ever so slightly, and he looks at you with like a pained expression, and sort of you sort of held him in place with one hand. As it turns to him, he sort of reaches behind with his other and just brings out a throwing star and throws it towards the Queen.
Oh my.
And he hits with a roll of 21. and deals 5 damage. So as this little star flings out from his hand, he seems completely unconcerned by the fact you're grabbing him. It sort of wedges into the back of the woman, and you sort of hear this sort of yelp of pain of ah, as this sort of blade is just stuck in her back. On her go, she just turns and looks and sort of jumps behind the counter and just sort of looks up behind and just goes, "Get rid of him! Get rid of him!"
Remain calm, my lady. I shall deal with this.
It is now your go.
I don't think he picked up his cane, did he? Shit. Oh wait, he's got his pistol built in, hasn't he? At this point, he will go for, I guess, with his other hand. Then he's obviously got a pistol built into that arm somewhere. He's just going to try a point blank shot at this guy.
Okay, roll to hit.
Seashore. Cease. So 3d6 plus accuracy. Oh, that's not bad. Oh, and I've got a double here. Double 5. So 10, 11 plus another 2. 13.
13. That hits, and you get some stunt points. So what would you like to do?
I've got 5 stunt points. So, well, I'm going to use one of them to rapid reload because he's got an auto loader built in there. Clearly, that leaves me with 4. I can. Oh, let's half his armor rating with pierce armor. That's another 2.
Nice.
And the final 2, I'll inflict a mighty blow, so an extra 1d6 damage.
Okay, roll your damage.
Okay, damage of the pistol is so 2d6 plus 3 now instead of 1d6.
Nice.
Yeah, so 9 in total.
9, and because you reduced his armor, it's pretty good. Okay, so sort of as you land that shot, like you sort of holding it in place, the pistol appears, you fire into his gut, and you sort of see him go ah, and just sort of yelp at pain. And in response, he's gonna try and get out of your grip so that he can go over. So I'd like you to roll a strength check, please.
Okay. 4, 8 plus 6 is 14.
14. Cool. So that's still greater than me. So he's tried to get out with his move, but he can't quite manage to. So with his other go, what he is going to do is he's going to pull out another throwing star and try and aim it at the queen behind this time. So he's just going to pull it out and aim, because he tried to use his major action would have been trying to get out of your grip.
Yeah.
So over to you again. Actually, to the queen. The queen's just going to continue to hide, and she sort of pokes her head up to sort of see what's going on.
At this point, then, so whilst continuing to grip hold of him, Tink will be, "Remove yourself from my premises before I remove you." And then he might just start pushing, like sort of walking him, or sort of frog marching him towards the door.
Okay. So to do that, I want you to make another strength check, please.
Okay. 6. Well, this is a good roll. 10, 15, 16.
More than me. That's the trend of this evening or today. Fantastic. Yeah. So you sort of start frog marching him back away from the queen. Is there anything else you'd like to do in your turn?
Not at this point. I think he just wants to kind of disable this, or just get rid of this guy. More than
cool.
Because killing's not really in his nature unless he feels directly threatened.
Okay, so I'm just checking my modifiers. However, for once I've actually rolled really, really well. He's going to fling out the throwing star. Now, he has rolled 4, 8, 13, 19.
Oh, jeez, the queen.
So even though she's in heavy cover, which is -3, that's 16. And then... yeah, so even her armor, that still hits her. So
it's just embedded in her forehead.
Yeah. Although, having said that, as he flings it, it like skims across the top of the table. And I rolled an almighty 1 for my damage, so she takes 1 point of damage. So she just gets a little graze across the forehead. As this sort of throwing star goes across her head. What would you like to do?
Can I attempt to grab his other arm to stop him throwing stars?
Yeah, so you can try and like properly full-on grapple him if you want.
Yes.
So make another full-up strength test, please.
It's like I'm only strength 1. This isn't going to go. Oh well, that will. That is a double 6 plus a 2. Obviously 6 on the stunt dice as well. So 12, 14, 15.
Okay, so that's more than enough. So you have full-on grappled this person. What would you like to do with him? Because you could still move around if you wanted to.
I presumably, as this is going on, I'm marching him towards the door.
Okay.
Have I got enough stunts or success there to like throw him out of the door onto the street or something?
Did you get any stunt points?
I got 6.
Oh, 6 stunts points. Yeah, well, I mean, you've got various things you could do. You could do lightning attack. You could do you could do threaten, taunt. Lots of different things you can do.
Yeah,
so.
I'm just looking through them at the moment. All right, we'll go. 2 will disarm him, so I'll use 2 of them to attempt to disarm. So we must make an opposed attack roll.
Okay, let's go for it. Oh, I rolled well for a change.
Yeah, I did not. 7, 8. What's that? What stat is that on then? Attack roll.
Just be an attack roll, so whichever attack you like, really. So it would be accuracy or.
Oh yeah, both of mine are accuracy anyway.
Yeah.
So plus 2, so 7, 8, 9, 10.
10. Okay, I rolled 20, so you don't manage to disarm. He sort of like moves them out the way just as you get there, but you do manage to frog march him outside of the front door. And as you sort of like
can I throw him prone
out,
as well with some other stunt points?
yeah,
that
of course you can. So you
floor,
like lob him down onto the ground, and as you sort of fling him out of this store, you see that there's 2 guards in beautiful gold armour, sort of just stood nearby, almost as if they are the Queen's Guard, and they just look at this. And you see them sort of like, one of them just drops down to a holster on his side, pulls it up and just shoots the assassin, hitting him and basically putting a bullet between his eyes. And the assassin just drops down onto the ground, and the guards turn to you and nod at you and just sort of then turn away. What would you like to do?
Gentlemen, how was this assassin able to get past your guard?
And sort of as you look up to try and see where they are in the street and the hustle and bustle, it's almost as if in the moment you blinked, they've just disappeared.
Curious. So at this point, you just turn around and go back into the shop and see how the Queen's doing, I guess.
And so as you turn around and walk back into the shop, you sort of see this head just appear from outside. From behind your workshop. Is he gone?
Yes, my lady, the assailant has been dealt with.
And she runs across to you and embraces you in a hug. And that is all you remember. So on to let's go for
get it on with the Queen.
Mac next. So Mac, you find yourself in a frost-covered circle. So there's this large circle of muddy patch. There's frost just across it. Around the outside of it, there's this barrier of shields and spears. So many familiar faces surround you. Your friends, your family. And they look on as this challenger walks into the ring. Some feel they have the strength to cheer as this large, dark-greened orc walks in. Others remain quiet. It's not often that their chief gets challenged. The orc in front of you is a young brute from the mountains. The dark green skin that he has contrasts the light tan of his armour, and on his back you can see the hilt of a large greatsword poking over his shoulders. And he just looks at you, and he goes, "Ha ha! Great Chieftain Mac, it is time for you to take a knee to the rightful ruler."
No, it isn't.
And he sort of looks at you, and this is an image and a dream that's haunted you many a time. It's that day that Gragorn Mountain Tamer took you on in hand-to-hand combat. And at this moment, he sort of smiles at you and goes, "Ha ha ha! Stubborn to the last," and pulls out this blade and just starts to walk towards you in a menacing manner. I would like you to roll initiative.
Uh, 14.
14. Okay, well, you are up first, Mac.
Oh, this is going to go badly. Mac is not a fighter.
He's a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah. Alright.
He's a shepherd, not a fighter.
Alright, he's gonna roar and try and intimidate him.
Okay.
Like Gordon Ramsay roar.
Cool.
Fucking roar! Roar.
That'd be amazing.
Okay.
Hold 2 bits of bread either side of his
Okay,
head.
we'll do an
I need a
opposed.
sandwich.
We'll do an opposed test then. So you roll your intimidation test, and I'll roll a willpower test.
Oh, you're kidding me. Okay, so 12.
12. Whoa.
Oh no, 14.
14. Oh. That is. You beat him by 1. Let's go on then, intimidate him.
Alright, yeah, he's gonna roar at him and just go, "Give up now, weakling!"
So,
and beat his chest.
So as you do this, you sort of see there's a moment where he, just looks at you and sort of, he's trying to be all strong, but he just freezes in place. For his go, what he's going to do is he's going to back away ever so slightly, and it's almost as if he's calculating his next move. But he's sort of just going to step away and circle you.
Alright. I'm going to have to charge him, I think, then.
Okay.
Alright. Right, I'm drawing his maul,
Yeah.
two-handed maul,
Cool.
and he's going to charge him.
Okay, so you get +1 bonus on your attack roll for charging.
Oh, not bad. 11, 12.
12. Okay, good. That does hit. So you get to roll your damage.
Okay, so my damage is 2d6. Alright, 8 damage.
8 damage.
And
nice.
I'm going to hopefully use my pinpoint accuracy as
Okay,
well.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't.
You
No, I
can't.
can't.
Didn't get any state points. Okay, cool. That's fine. So nice, good work. So in response, as you charge in, what he's going to do is he's going to sort of take that moment to bring his blade up, and what he's going to do is he's going to smash you with his sword. So he's going to have a go at trying to smash you down. So he rolls +4. That is 11, 12, 16 to hit.
Yeah, easily hits.
So he does 7 points of damage. So minus your armour from that.
Okay, mine was 4.
And then what he's going to do is he's almost going to bring the blade round, and then he's going to swoop it across in sort of like a guarding position, just holding the blade across his body. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I'm just going to swing at him again.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
Is this an all-out attack, is it?
You can do an all-out attack, which is +1, but then you suffer -1 to your defence.
Yeah, he's always going to hit me, I think. I'm going to do an all-out attack.
Okay.
Ooh, okay, that was good. Double 6 with 6 on the stunt die.
Nice.
So that's 12, 13, 15, 16 for the attack.
So even with his guard up, you managed to hit him. And you've got 6 stunt points to use.
Alright, shall I do the damage first?
Yep, roll damage.
9 points of
Spend 5
damage.
stunt points
9
to do
points
another
of damage.
2d6 damage.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do lethal blow to get 2d6 extra damage.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Lethal blow him. Ooh, 9 points of damage for that.
Oh, okay.
And I am going to try my pinpoint actually, because I can use that.
Okay, and that.
So, but only if my dex is higher than his.
So what's your dex?
2.
His is 0. So that's what.
Oh, and 6 for my.
Because your pinpoint accuracy is an extra d6 damage, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay.
So that 4d6 damage.
So, as you bring that blade down, describe the killing blow.
As the axe comes down, the killing blow is simple, but the important thing is that as he smashes this orc in the face, the whole tribe erupts in a massive cheer and start chanting Mac's name as he flexes his muscles and roars at the sky.
So you bring this maul down and smash him across the face. Just this jaw breaks and smashes down, and sort of just like you just hear this painful whelp, and his lifeless body drops down to the side. The crowd erupts. Mac, 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 and sort of as you're there flexing your muscles, there's a momentary realization that this is not how it ended. This is not how it happened. And as everybody's there cheering, you're flexing your muscles, absorbing the victory. You see your friends just turn to ash to start with. And people just start to disappear. And the last to disappear in front of you is your family, turning to ash. And then the whole scene just starts to get brighter and brighter and brighter, and that is all you remember. Gillis, on to you. You find yourself walking through a forest. It feels sort of familiar. You're searching for something. You're not really sure what you're searching for, but you're definitely searching for something. And you're just walking through the forest. What would you like to do?
So yeah, he's very accustomed to wandering forests. He's got a good sense of direction, but obviously he doesn't know what he's looking for. He's just going to take a moment to just pray a bit, just meditate, try and find his sort of centre, pray to the almighty Rook.
Okay. So as you sort of start to meditate and sort of compose yourself, you feel like you can just hear some things in the far distance. Noises. Sounds like vegetation moving. You feel a slight rumble through your feet. And at that moment, just in front of you, erupts this vine, and it comes down and slaps over the top of you. I would like you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Dice roller. One moment, forgot how to unlock my phone. Dexterity of 1 gives me a total of 9.
9. Okay, so as this vine slaps down across your chest, it sort of like locks you in pace and roots you to the ground. You cannot move. I would like you to roll initiative, please. I am rolling so badly on initiative today. Oh my lord.
I got 13.
Yep, you are going first. What would you like to do?
I'm currently being crushed to death by a giant vine, so as my headdress is actually sort of my foci, as it were, my wand, kind of sort of headbutt a arcane blast into existence.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to sort of try and like sort of summon sort of this energy through your head and try and give it a headbutt. Yeah, go and roll to hit.
Yep. Roll to hit. So I'm on my accuracy, which I've recently upgraded to 2 as we leveled up. Total of 16.
16, nice, that hits. Roll damage.
Yep. It's just 1d6 for arcane blast, isn't it?
Plus your willpower, I think.
Plus willpower, cool. Right. So
or intelligence, whichever one it is that's responsible for the magic.
Well, they're both the same stat, so it's 7 total.
Okay, cool, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you do so, like you smash into this vine, and like the sort of as a few feathers come out and smash into it, and you sort of see it sharding in places. It's sort of like sort of broken, but it's not quite released its grip. As it gets on to the forests go, this second vine just flings out. With you already locked in place, it just slams down in front of you and locks you in place. As that happens, you sort of look around and you see two trees nearby just start to stomp towards you. Sort of like they're large logs raising up as if to hit you. Over to you.
Okay, so I didn't see any actions on the sheet for cake in your pants. I think that's what Gillis will be doing at this point. Yeah, so I'm going to try and wriggle free from the two vines that are currently choking me out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Greased up deaf guy. So what do we need for that?
So you're just going to try and wriggle out of them, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like you to roll a... I'll go for dexterity if you're going to try and wriggle out of them.
Okay. 15.
15. Oof.
Total.
I rolled 16. So, as you sort of like try and wriggle your way through, the vines like just crunch down on you a little bit harder, a little bit more.
Yeah.
As it gets on to the forests go, the vines are just going to keep you in place. These two trees are just going to come up and they're going to start trying to hit you. So the first tree rolls a almighty 7, so I think that's going to miss. What's your armour? Or your defence, sorry.
0.
Your defence, sorry.
Oh, defence is 11.
11, okay, cool. And the other one also misses. So, I'm rolling so badly. So as these sort of like big tree trunks are just dropping down in front of you, like there's just smashes of mud just spraying you in the face. Vines holding you in place. What do you want to do?
So I've got a focus in natural law. Would I recognise, are these sort of tree spirits common in the world, or is this just a...
So if you want, you can spend a turn rolling a
mental
nature check, trying to figure out what's going on. So spend like a few seconds just being like, what the hell is this? Go on then, roll a check.
Yeah. What's this on?
Yeah, be intelligence.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, it's in natural law. 12, 15.
Okay.
I've got 4 4s, so I've got stunt points.
So, I would...
Never had a stunt point before.
Have a look at the stunts. So, for the stunts, what I will let you do, with you sort of like the knowledge that you've got, I'll allow you to use some combat stunt points. Because you recognise this as sort of arcane magic. This feels like the forest is alive. Sometimes this happens. You've heard rumours of forests just being awoken by magical spirits and things, but sort of in that moment that you sort of think, okay, no, this is something I can deal with. I've heard of this. You sort of think about the impact you just made in the vine, and that would be a weak spot. So if you want, I would say you can sort of use a couple of combat stunts on the vine.
Okay. So am I sort of constricted? My arm's constricted as well?
Yeah, so you're like locked in place at the moment.
Okay, so I can't reach my trusty cudgel. Yeah, so in that case, probably we'll concentrate on the weak point and try and hit it with another arcane blast.
So I would say that in the terms of this, that you sort of like you're thinking about what's going on, and almost in the sort of essence of you thinking about it, it sort of starts to break. Like you have some sort of control over this vine. I'd like you to roll to do damage on it, please.
Normal arcane blast damage. Yep. Give it a 2 dice. It had to happen some point. 1.
Okay, so despite you thinking about this, like you can just see that, just like almost with the power of you trying to control this vine, it sort of snaps and shatters and breaks. because all you needed was 1 damage after what you did to it last time.
Oh, right.
So this vine just breaks in front of you. The second one's still locking you in place, and these 2 trees are going to start wailing in on you again. So the first tree is going to roll a 12 to hit.
Yes.
And
Defense 11, yep.
yeah, so that's going to be 8 points of damage.
Cool.
Second one rolls 16, 17, 18 to hit.
Nice.
And does 13 points of damage.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I'm just going to try and will the vine to let go of me.
Okay. Roll a faith check, please.
That's based on willpower, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
12, 15 again.
Nice.
No stunts.
Okay. So, as you tell this vine, get off me, and you try and control it, it just removes itself, drops itself down to the ground. There's these 2 trees that are sat either side of you, and they sort of take a moment to pause as they see you sort of just move this vine away. And whilst one of them does nothing, one of them is going to try and hit you. It rolls 12 to hit.
Yep.
Hits. Oh, I'm rolling rubbish. That is an almighty snake eyes. So that does 5 points of damage in total.
Okay.
So you'll go.
Okay, I'm going to try and use the regrowth spell on the vines and try and use them against the trees, try and keep the one that's aggressive pinned in place.
Nice. Okay, so what I would like you to do is I'd like you to roll your magic test for that as you try and grow up these vines.
Oh,
Is that a
10.
pass? 'Cause you...
Oh, actually,
Yeah,
it's got a target number,
yeah.
isn't it? It's not... Yeah, hang on, sorry, I've got my spell saved in the gallery. That's how I roll. He says, alright, here we go. Regrowth. Target
Nice,
number
so you
is 10.
succeed.
Bonus.
Okay. So, as you sort of use this spell and realise your control over these vines, with them already partly grown, they just erupt out of the ground and they smash into the aggressive tree and sort of hold it back to one side. And sort of almost in a heartbeat, you sort of turn and bring your hand up on the other side and more vines erupt out and sort of hold the other tree at bay. And as you're free of these trees and free of the vines, you sort of smile a moment as you feel complete control over nature. And at this moment, a cage of vines erupts around you, engulfs you and draws you underground. Everything goes dark. At this moment,
Thank God.
all of you...
Oh, we had 3 health points left at the end.
At this moment, all of you sort of start to open your eyes. You sort of see that around you there is a gathering of people. The fire crackling away in the centre. The sun fully up into the sky, its warmth beaming down on this camp. And you sort of all shake open your eyes. And you sort of hear this man go, "Well, I didn't think they were going to survive, to be brutally honest." And sort of somebody else, sort of in a tongue you don't really recognise, sort of responds and sort of chuckles. And sort of, Galen, you're the first to wake, and as you do so, Sachi just puts her hands on your shoulder and says, "Just take it easy, take it easy." And you sort of shake your head feels thick. But for all of you, whilst you've got this thickness to your brain and you almost feel fatigued and tired and battered by the fight that you might have had, you also feel stronger. All the more for it. And you are all now level 2. So, yeah, just to bear in mind. Yeah. So, you've all been invigorated
Even
by
Rocky
this.
had a montage.
For levelling up, just as this is the first time the group has done it, we did do this off podcast, but essentially...
Oh yeah, I've been playing in my level 2 all day.
Jay, cheat! Basically each character gets a little bit more health, and they also have a sort of step ladder for the classes that gives them some new skills, and you'll learn what those new skills are as we go through. And you also get the ability to get new focuses and new abilities as you sort of progress, and it's all based off your class, sort of where you can go with that. But basically the choices are endless. There's all sorts of subclasses and such, but as we play you'll discover what our players have chosen. But yeah, you're all feeling a little bit stronger, and as sort of you start to rise up and sort of stretch yourselves out, you sort of see this crowd, and they sort of smile and nod, and you sort of see a general change in the demeanour of everybody. Before they were slightly cautious of you. You were here on an invitation from their seer, but now everybody seems to be like, okay, they passed that test. What would you like to do?
Mac's going to sit up and see if there's any more of that stuff going.
And sort of as you look around, there's no other.
Give
the only other
to,
drinks
Jeremy.
you can sort of see.
Jeremy's Spirit Quest.
You can sort of see like a cup on the side. You can see the empty sort of things, and there's no more of that. There's some of the other hot drink around, but there's none of the same stuff you just drank.
You might just have a quick look in Gillis's cup, see if any's left in there.
There's nothing left in his cup.
Oh. He's gonna look at the blind lady. You forgot one of us. Jeremy didn't get a drink.
She sort of looks and goes, "Hey, I have never given the brew to a sheep before. Are you sure that is a wise thing?"
I will just check. Yes, he definitely needs to have the drink.
Okay, and she goes, "Very well," and sort of walks out and walks back to her tent, and you sort of start to see her sort of working away in her tent, sort of a little fire crackling away. And as that's all going on, sort of Sachi turns to you and goes, "Well, you have certainly earned our trust." And at this moment you also see that sort of at her side is the big man, and he goes, "I am Capo, and this is Sachi. My clan welcomes you. Well, our clan welcomes you. It's not every day that you see a group of strangers pass the Berserker trial." And he sort of goes, and has a little laugh.
Is this the person that's at my side, or is this the really
No, this is
big
the person that's your size, so this is the other one that sort of seems to be in charge.
Capo. Yeah, the first thing Gillis does when he wakes up is just pat himself down, because he got pretty roughed up in Dream Quest, and he's probably still a bit dazed and confused to make sure there's no residual sort of psychosomatic damage.
As you sort of dust yourself down, you swear you're brushing soil off yourself.
Soiled
No,
myself.
so you're brushing soil off yourself.
Oh, right.
It's just
Would have been better my way.
You do that, and you sort of brush a bit, and you sort of then realise you're not really actually brushing anything at all.
Cool. Yeah, so he mutters a little prayer to Rook that he feels a bit closer to his god after that.
Seeing Gillis brush himself down, I will notice the dislodged feather from last time and just point it out to him. Gillis, one of your feathers has come loose, and I'll just pluck it off for him.
After what just happened to us, Mac, I think a loose feather is the least of my worries. Still a bit shook up after that.
Was it? I had a very nice dream.
No, did we all have the same dream? What did you dream of?
I was fighting for the chiefdom of the clan again. I was victorious.
It's a shame you came back to this reality, right?
Did you have to fight for your clan?
Some dreams won't come true, I'm afraid, Mac.
No, they won't let me back ever again, but it was still a good dream.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Mine was horrendous.
Oh, I am sorry to hear.
How about you, Galen? I feel quite revitalised in my faith after that. Did you commune with your god?
Yes, it was a very strange experience for me. I ended up fighting some demon down in some depths of a dungeon, but the god of flame protected me, and my faith was able to defeat it.
Okay, so
it seems we've passed this
seems quite
test,
harrowing for us all,
though, which is good.
Did he say berserker test?
It did.
Trial.
And Sachi sort of goes, yes, he did. You've just taken the test of our finest warriors, and you have passed. I mean, let's say Alsa touted you to be fine warriors, and it shows that you have certainly proven yourself to be so.
So now we must discuss terms.
Just remind me not to accept drinks from strangers again.
This as well. I would have drunk yours as well, but it's glad that the potion didn't kill you, because, you know, I can see that you have great things to achieve. So, I guess this is where we talk about why we're actually here. And again, it's Alsa. She was having dreams of this place. She was imagining a safe haven. She kept saying the same thing over and over. And she'd be looking at her bones, and she would say that it was something to do with this land, the old land of our ancestors, and they kept repeating to her. Between the three that never grow, the ones with roots that are not on show, an old one always runs its course, a roar so loud, it's no wonder it's hoarse. Find there, behind the veil, a house, a home, a holy grail. And, well, that is why we are here. We are looking for this place. We assume it's in this forest, because her visions have been linked to this forest. But, you know, we just believe it is somewhere that we can go to stay and forget. And just exist. And I guess that's where our paths kind of meet. You have said that we have come here and raided. We have come and taken what we need to survive the winter. And that was our first goal. Our next goal now is to find this place. And I guess I turn to you and say, can you help us find this place? You say that the locals are upset with us being here, and maybe us going to this place can sort out that problem. I mean, once we're there, the prophecy says that it will be all that we need.
I guess the big question
is, what does this place look like?
We don't know. It's just within this forest somewhere. This passage of words that Alsa has given us is all that we know.
As much as we appreciate becoming warriors in your clan, etc., what's in it for us?
And she sort of takes a moment and goes, well, we're about to send out our scouts and some of our warriors to find this place. What's in it for you? Well, let's just say, if you find this place, you can keep whatever in it. We just want to exist there.
I look around to the other guys and sort of questioningly look at them, as if like, are we doing this?
The coats are a deal breaker.
She looks at you and goes, the coats. Fine. If you find us warmth and shelter that'll replace the need for the coats, we will give you your coats.
I also said I would find Daisy the sheep for Fergal.
And she goes, she looks over at the sheep and goes, "Do you know which one is Daisy?"
Daisy!
Roll an animal handling. See how attuned to sheep you are.
Here comes the 18.
The lamb whisperer.
Ooh, that's not bad. 15.
Okay, so as you sort of say Daisy, 4 sheep look up at you with panic, sort of in their eyes, and one just carries on eating.
I think it's that one. Fergal didn't look like he was the sort of person that had a very intelligent sheep.
So, you may have identified which sheep Daisy is, and she sort of looks and goes, "Well, I guess we have enough grain, and 4 sheep is enough for us to at least start a herd of some sort, or a flock. That's what you call them, yes?" And she sort of looks at them and goes, "We might need a ram, though. Yes, fine. You find us our sanctuary, we will give you the coats, we will give you Daisy the sheep, and you can keep what you find in the ruins."
If you like, I can lend you Jeremy. He is a very well-endowed sheep. He will see
You
to your
studying Jeremy out.
use.
And she sort of looks at you and goes, "We would be very grateful. We will take care of him. I mean, if you wish us to look after him now, whilst you go and search, we will look after him for you."
Mac is going to have to think about this for a minute. I don't know. I'll have to ask him. Jeremy,
And sort of the sheep looks up.
what do you think about having these people look after you? I've got to go and do something that might be a bit scary for you.
And he sort of looks up and he bleats. There.
I think Jeremy might be okay staying.
And he sort of looks up and he sort of drops his head, looks up again, and sort of looks across at the other sheep and sort of starts trotting over to the other sheep.
Jeremy, you might want to wait to the spring till you do that.
He sort of looks back. His head hangs low for a second, and then sort of continues to walk, but with less of a skip in his step.
Alright, people, I have said Jeremy can stay here, but it does mean that I don't have anyone to cuddle at night. I like you, Mr. Metalman, but I don't know you are very comfy. So, Gillis or Gallus, or Galen, just, I might need warming.
Goodness me.
Right, I am ready to go.
So at this moment, excuse me. So at this moment, sort of you sort of see Sachi look up and go, "Well, I feel a deal has been met." And she sort of passes you this little piece of paper, and it just has the words written on it. And she sort of, it says it there again. Between the 3 that never grow, the ones with roots that are not on show, an old one always runs its course, a roar so loud, no wonder it's hoarse. Find here behind the veil a house, a home, a holy grail. And you sort of look at that, and this is your clue. This is what you've got to go on. Max sort of seems ready to go, and sort of the clan are looking at you, and a couple of the scouts come over to you and hold up a bag. And they say, "You might need this."
Well, we've got our opportunity
want
to
it?
get Tinky's coats back. We're going to get lots of riches and deal with these guys, find them a home. Let's go.
So what was in the bag?
Who knows?
It's sort of like the guy looks at you and goes, "It's just a tent and some supplies you might need."
Okay.
Do it.
Mac,
Do you
you
want-
want to carry this? You've got the muscles.
I can carry it.
And you sort of the scout passes you this bag, and as you sort of pick this bag up, it's a little bit weighty, but you sort of have a look inside, and there's a tent, there's a rope, there's also some torches inside it as well. And you also see a flint and steel at the bottom as well.
Cool.
Okay. So, Sachi sort of looks at you and goes, well, the sun is high. I'm guessing that if you are searching for this, I have a deep gratitude to you. You will certainly earn friendship within our clan if you do manage to find this.
Out of character for a second, which one of us has a map?
None of you.
Right, we're going to need a map.
And she sort of turns to you and sort of says, well, this is a big forest, but I'm sure you'll crack that code, and whatever Alsa sees, she's already foreseen you.
Surely,
and you seem to be...
Sachi, do any of your scouts have a map of the region? Surely they have made some sort of a map to help them navigate these forests. At least so the elements that they've uncovered.
She turns to you and says, well, we have not, in all fairness, because we've been going to that town not far from here that we sort of know our way back. We know the path that we use to get in and out of the forest, but we haven't actually explored the forest since. We do know that there is a river not far from here that we've been getting some water from. It's fast flowing, just sort of, and she sort of points and goes, it's out that way.
Which way is she pointing?
And she's sort of like she's pointing sort of out the back of the camp where they don't have a gate. So you sort of approached roughly from the south. You kind of know that because the forest was in the north. So she's sort of pointing like there's a river not more than 10 minutes north of us. It's where we've been getting some water from.
Can we have your
Gillis is a...
Can we have your word that you will not do any raiding whilst we're off trying to find this place you so wish to call home?
And she sort of looks at you, and she looks at you and looks around her camp and says, I think we have what we need. I think we are fine for winter. And we've 2 weeks raiding. Well, but honest to our old gods, we have tried not to hurt a soul whilst doing it. And she sort of turns to you and sort of says, there is one question I have for you. Some of our scouts on the wall said they recognised you from a pub that was hit. One of our warriors never came back. Nut was his name. Were you responsible for his death?
He was responsible for his own death. He made the decisions that led to it.
And she pauses for a moment and went, he always was a hothead. And she sort of sighs and goes, but maybe it was for the best. And at the moment you sort of see this news being said, you do notice that Capo, has a face like thunder on hearing this news, and he just turns and walks back into the boat on the side.
He's going to double cross us.
You live by the sword, you die by the two-handed maul.
Mac is just going to whisper to the others, when I killed that person, he was trying to steal the girl. Have they stolen other girls like they stole Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, if they're taking what they need for the winter, do they need women? Is something else going on here? That wasn't just supplies, they were taking people.
I'd say roll a perception check. You can all roll a perception check.
Using level 2 or level 1 stats?
Yeah, level 2, because you're all level 2.
16.
What is perception on?
16.
Oh,
14.
perception. Yeah, okay, fine. 16.
18
18.
with 5
Sounds
stun
okay.
points.
That's a pretty good look. As you sort of look round,
See all.
you see this camp. It doesn't really have anywhere to hide anything. There's barrels filled with grain. You see
bodies.
the interactions of the families that you see are very homely, and like it's the middle of the day, and you see some of them sharing sort of flatbreads and things that they've clearly made out of the grain that they've got. And you sort of see some of them. You do notice with such a high roll as a group, Gillis, I think you rolled an 18. So you do see somebody like furnishing some coats into like some bedclothes, like sewing them together roughly, because you rolled so high. But to all intents and purposes, you don't get the impression that there's anybody else here against their will.
Okay. Right, I just want to reiterate that, guys, I'm really comfortable getting us through forest without getting us lost. I spent my entire life in a forest of some sort, and as a nomad, we sort of avoid the cities and stuff like that, my people, or former people, so to speak. So, yeah, I don't think we need a map.
Forgive me, my feathered
we'll
man,
work it out.
however, I do not trust traipsing through woods without some form of navigation.
Well, I've got navigation, taps his head. Lord Rook will guide me.
We have the sun.
We got the stars, we got a river.
got our
we
faith.
need a few sort of landmarks. It's great trying to talk to a robot about faith.
He just kind of eyes you, like, just looks at you blankly.
Out of character, but has Tink not got some sort of GPS we
No,
could use?
because it's not a thing, is it? There's no satellites to bounce off of that I'm aware of.
How do you know?
So, as you're sort of there having these conversations, there is there's a moment where some of the scouts start to head off, in just on hunting or something. It's just a small group leave, and sort of everybody just seems to be getting about their business. And Sachi sort of stood there, and she sort of bows her head and sort of says, "Look, if there is anything else you need, please ask. But I must go and see to Capo." And she sort of takes her leave from you, and sort of starts to walk back towards the tent.
Okay, so
Shall we go?
I think we need to rest. I don't know about you guys, I am absolutely knackered.
We
Yeah,
could
we
do
are
with a
still
bit of a
suffering.
rest
Rest
before we head off.
Okay.
Let's try out this tent they've
Uh,
given us in a sort of a quiet environment. Don't want to get out in the middle of the field and realise this tent's full of holes.
So you're gonna just pitch your tent in the middle of their camp and sort of have a bit of a snooze from midday.
I guess we could do a bit of a trip out. We don't want to go too far. Maybe get down to the river. It's only 10 minutes away. Get a wash.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes, you could do with
Yeah,
a
think
that
Tink
stink.
will-
All that sheet cuddling.
Just raises an eyebrow at Mac.
Tink will recharge. He'll shut down. Like he'll find a corner somewhere in the camp and just like deploy a solar panel out of his bowler hat to recharge.
Okay. So you can catch your breath.
Power brick.
So it's basically like a short rest. You can sort of catch your breath for 5 minutes before you head out, if you want to.
Did the damage we took in the dreams,
It did.
was that real
It
damage?
did indeed. It was real damage. Yes.
So I definitely need to rest. I want 3 health points.
So you can take a breather.
Strong wind
and
will
after
finish me.
After a breather, you get back 5 plus your constitution plus your level in
nice.
health.
Let's do that then.
5.
So 5 plus your
7.
constitution plus your level.
Cool. 7 for me takes me to a total of 10.
Cool.
You really, because I played that sort of character, I played that guy in the test run we did with armor and a shield. You really notice it when you don't have it. It didn't feel important when I was using him.
Yeah, armor makes a big difference, massive difference. So awesome. Okay, so you sort of recharged your batteries and you sort of start to gather your things to make your way out of the camp. Are you wanting to pursue this journey?
I think we should move out.
Yeah, I think these people are going to get in trouble if they keep doing what they're doing. And if they get found by the local militias or hired mercenaries, they'll kill those kids as well. They won't mess around. So I think our best bet is to find these people somewhere safe to inhabit.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Right. Bye, Jeremy. Don't do anything I would not do.
And you just sort of hear a meh come out from the little field of sheep.
I mean, I must ask though, Tink, do you feel like you can repair these coats, these fineries, after they've been so heavily worn and sodden by the camp's inhabitants?
There is nothing a tailor cannot do when it comes to garments. They can be rescued.
Very well.
Okay. So, you sort of start to make your way out of the camp and make your way sort of to the river. It's very easy to find. It takes you no more than 10 minutes. There is a very well-trodden path, clearly where the clan have been going to and from the river. When you get to the river, you sort of see this sort of it's about 3-4 meters across, quite a wide little almost river here. It's quite fast flowing, and it's sort of flowing towards what you assume must be the coast, as it sort of heads off in, if you were to look at the sun, an easterly direction from where you're at. What would you like to do?
What was that riddle again?
Before we go...
The riddle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll have to send it
it's
to us.
quite a long one.
Yeah, I will send it.
Alright, before we go anywhere, Mac would just like to say, I would just like to say thank you. It was very nice of you all to come and help me find Jeremy. You didn't have to do it, and Mac is very happy that you did.
So you sort of take this nice moment.
No worries, Mac.
Right next to the stream, and everybody sort of takes a moment to take in the riddle of between the three that never grow, the ones with roots that are not on show. An old one always runs its course, a roar so loud, no wonder it's hoarse. Find here behind the veil, a house, a home, a holy grail.
Sounds like a waterfall to me.
I think you might be right there. I think we need to follow this river back to its source.
The problem is a waterfall could be at either end of the river, right? It could be near the start, or it could be further downstream.
It says an old one always runs its course. Is that referencing this river, though? And if we need to find the old one, surely you follow it back to its source. A roar so loud. I definitely think that. Yeah, I think that.
What's
that's
the three
referencing
the three that never grow? Would that be like mountains? Is it like, are we looking for something between some mountains that runs in a valley, or have you sent it, John?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Sort of you're taking this moment and the stream's running, you sort of hear the tweeting of birds in the forest, sort of the warmth of the sun hitting your faces. So much thinking.
That's why we need a map.
Okay, so there's
riddles.
Have a paddle.
The river.
Mac's going to have a paddle. Mac goes in, has a little paddle.
I'm assuming the river flows out towards the sea, which we covered, towards the coast. Can we tell roughly the direction towards the coast? Is that deeper into the forest or further away from the? Is that towards the edge of the forest?
I would say make from where you are. Make a perception check.
14.
14. Okay, that's pretty decent. So, sort of as you sort of have a little look around and you sort of like think about the direction of the river, where it's going, and sort of where you've been and where you've gone, and sort of just looking at the river, you can sort of see how it's starting to widen and meander a little bit. And you get the impression that the meandering would start to happen nearer the coast. So as you sort of, at the river where you're at now, as you look to the left, that would be where the source of the river would be. As you look to the right, that's where sort of the river is going, probably nearer the coast.
How many mountains are around here?
From where you're at right now, you can't see any. There is some high ground not that far from you that you can sort of see, or there's plenty of trees around.
Might pay to look from the high ground.
If you ever get lost, that's the thing you do, isn't it? You find running water, follow it back to high ground, because it'll, water runs downhill, follow it back to high ground.
Might even reveal a
and then
waterfall, isn't it?
Use that as a.
It sounds like maybe.
Try and find some landmarks.
As rivers break, they break into multiple streams, right? So maybe we'll find like this becomes a single trunk or something. And we can follow that back. So are we agreed to head upstream?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Okay. So as you make your way, you follow the stream up. It's pretty easy going. There's not often that you sort of have to stray slightly to the side. There's a couple of small falls here and there, but nothing that you sort of, every time you get to a waterfall, you do have a look, but there's nothing else around. You do get to one part where suddenly the river that you're at splits into two and splits away. It is a little bit more open in this area. There are some trees to one side, and there is a large rock, sort of a large rock formation. Not massive, but it's a larger one. One of those triangular rocks that sort of creeps up over the top of the trees. But you are at this split, and you've been meandering through the forest. You're not entirely sure what direction is which right now.
Have we gone upstream or downstream?
You've gone upstream.
Oh.
Triangular rock.
So
the Slate Peak Mountains has those big triangular rocks that just erupt out the ground, rather like.
Well, that sounds like the three that never grow.
So there's at this particular place, there's just sort of this singular one that's a little bit taller than the trees.
It's out of the ground.
Okay, so I reckon we scale this and see if we can see. Anyone good at rock climbing?
I can probably climb.
But whether you can convey what he's seeing is another matter.
Can you carry Mac up? Sorry, can you carry Tink up with you?
Can't we just detach Tink's head and put it on like a stick and just
he needs a UAV type thing. Some sort of eagle drone.
I could regrowth.
Can you use a crow
on like a stick or something to make. I don't know. The crow thing is purely his.
Not a.
No, he doesn't actually have any crows. It's a purely his arcane blast. It just takes the manifestation. It looks like a crow, but it's not actually a crow.
Just dresses it to be cool.
Yep.
Stuff. The very first hot topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mac, are you climbing up the tree?
Yeah,
I'll
climb up this.
Okay.
This.
I would like you to make a dexterity acrobatics check. Is that the right one? Hang on, do I mean that one? Definitely a dexterity check. Yeah, acrobatics.
Not too bad. 9.
Oh, actually, no, I lie. It will be a strength climbing check. Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's better. Okay.
Strength climbing.
That's
the focus you want to use.
That's 16.
16, nice. So you sort of scale up with ease. You get to the top and you sort of take in the scenery around you. Oh, it's pretty. Roll a perception check.
He's not
climb
very
the hell out
perceptive.
of that tree and then look the hell out of that forest.
Not bad though. 14.
14, that's pretty good. You're taking in this beautiful view, you're sort of looking around. You sort of see, like, this area for what it is. It's a beautiful, large forest. You can sort of see the evergreen trees dominate this place, so it's still luscious and green from up here. You also see these sort of gigantic rocks just rutting out of the ground like teeth. You do notice, to one direction, there are a group of about 3 of these, quite close together. Roll a navigation check, which is intelligence.
Getting progressively worse. Ooh. 7.
7. You don't know how far away it is, but it's somewhere over there.
Alright, I just got to shout down, there are 3 big rocks over that way, and just point
In the general direction.
in the general direction.
Okay.
That would appear to be our most sensible direction.
And then I guess I'll come down.
Agreed.
You sort of make your way down, so I'd like you to make another strength climbing check, please.
Don't flub it.
Don't land on me.
Okay, that's fine. That is 11, 12, 13, 14, 18.
18, easily you scale down the rock and you manage to get down. So you sort of make your way down to the bottom. I would like you, Mac, to make an intelligence check right now.
Your dice have been hot today, though.
Oh dear, 7.
Okay, so you pointed, and whilst everybody saw the direction that you pointed when you were up there, you can't really remember what direction it's in right now.
Alright, do we know where we are going now?
Well, no, you observed.
I pointed.
And like Tink kind of accesses whatever memory bank things he has. Very well. We should proceed in roughly this direction, and like kind of points to hopefully the way that Mac pointed earlier.
And you notice that one of the rivers does actually follow that sort of direction.
Perhaps we should follow this river.
Is it tributaries?
Let's go.
Let us go.
So you sort of follow the river, and it's quite a nice walk. Like in the afternoon sun, the forest is quite welcoming, and as you sort of manage to make your way along, the river starts to sort of become smaller and a little bit slower. And then you eventually reach an area that just opens out in front of you. And it's almost like going from like thick forest to all of a sudden just this open expanse above you. The trees line around the bottom of this large plunge pool, where there is this large waterfall just obscuring a rock face. And you sort of see there's a number of ways up to where this waterfall runs. But as you look higher, you can see 1, 2, 3 giant rocks. These massive sort of teeth just exposed out to the sun. And you maybe think that you're here. You're at the location that was talked about. Rather easy to find, in all fairness. But when you sort of turn around and look back where you are, the forest is thick, it's dense, yet parts of your walk are very easy. But you do sort of get the sense that when you look out into the forest, you are bang smack in the middle of this place. Like, it's not easy to get to. Might have been easy to find, but not easy to get to. And certainly you've had to go out your way to get here. What would you like to do?
So we need to find a waterfall of some description, I think.
And so
Isn't there a big waterfall in front of us?
there is, yes.
Sorry, my connection lagged.
I think I found
missed
the waterfall.
Sort of like Tink just had a moment where he sort of like switched off and sort of switches back on, and so it goes, do we need to find a waterfall?
We should go behind the waterfall, is what I think is. The riddle states we should look behind the veil. Perhaps the veil in question is the sheet of water streaming down from above us.
Let's go check out this waterfall then, guys.
Okay, so as you make your way up, what I would like you to do, those of you who are making your way up, can you please roll a dexterity test? Well, in fact, no, we're going to go for strength.
Oh, is there a risk that Tink would snag some of his finely tailored clothes on this?
Boom.
I don't think he would climb.
Maybe.
It's a bit too rugged for him.
16.
Ooh,
16?
8.
Okay, so
18.
Tink's waiting
I
down
have
the bottom,
elected that I
16,
shall wait
18.
here.
I got 8, so...
Okay. So, as you make your way up... How many hit points did you have left?
Go back to 10.
So, as you make your way up, you slip, and the wet rocks, you're climbing up, and as you get there, you slip, you fall, and...
Can I grab him?
Go for a strength check. You reach out a hand.
11 plus 4,
Ooh.
15.
Oh, I'm going to say you can grab him. As you sort of see, like, Gillis falling, you sort of lean down and you manage to grab hold of him. But you are now grabbing hold of him, like, for a moment. I would like you to make a second strength check. And Gillis, I would like you to make an acrobatics check. Dexterity.
Okay, that was good. 19.
19. Okay, so
11.
you manage to hold on. So at the moment that you're sort of falling down, you get grabbed and you sort of manage to swing back onto the rock and you sort of gather up your hands once more. And you can continue the climb up if you so wish.
I don't think you want to fall, Gillis.
I'm like, no, definitely not, Mac.
Get over the rushing water.
I would like you, Gillis, to make another strength check, please. Climbing.
All of us.
No, just you, Gillis.
Alright. Strength 0, 13.
13. Okay, so you managed to sort of climb your way up to the top a little bit, sort of not as quite as sort of athletically as the other two. And as you get up to the top of this little climb and scramble, the cave sort of opens up down to the side, the waterfall falls down to your right, and you sort of see the darkness, sort of slightly light because of the way the sun shines in through a hole in the sort of ceiling of this cave. It's like a little light hole. And what sort of greets you is this large, almost natural cave, but parts of it look like it's been turned into murals. They are extremely faded. In the centre, not far away from you, maybe 25 metres further into the cave, there is this big sort of stone courtyard with 4 ruined pillars around the outside of it. In the centre, a single pedestal. And as you sort of look around this area, you see there are cups all over the floor. And as you sort of take in what's also on the floor, you see skeletons and decayed bodies. People in what looks like ancient armour just sat around this cave
They
entrance.
chose poorly.
And further behind, you see this door. It's a huge stone door. And around the outside of it, it is adorned with runes and glyphs. Does anybody speak giant or dwarvish?
Nope.
Negative.
Nope.
Okay.
9.
So as you sort of take in this scenery and looking around you, you sort of see this sort of these murals across the side. You see this giant door, and what secrets there might be behind it. And we shall find those out next time around.
Ooh.
There we go.
Mysterious.
Oh, very nice.
You are
Does it say speak friend
at
and
the
enter?
door. No, it does not say speak friend and enter. Although whilst writing that, you're sat there going, what's a good riddle to get in a door? Wait, I know where that one's from.
Police!
But no, good. Yeah, awesome. awesome stuff. So, well done, you survived your dreams. First opportunity for somebody to maybe knock it on the head, but they didn't, so well done. And yeah, all level 2.
I've got 17 backup characters.
All of the backups.
Imagine that. Died in your dream.
But no, awesome stuff. Yeah. How did you die?
Freddy
Fighting
Krueger.
things
Fighting Freddy Krueger.
in my mind.
Died in my sleep, technically.
But no, awesome stuff. So, well done, everybody, and I really enjoyed that again once more. And thank you for
thank you,
Yeah, it was
John.
good.
being such awesome players.
Thank you.
And so thank you as well if you're listening along to this. Thank you for joining us on this journey. And if you want to find out what is within the doors behind the veil, then you'll have to tune in next time. But thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you in the next episode of the Wreckage RPG. Catch you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to our show. We hope you enjoy it as much as we do. On that topic, if you did like the show, please leave us a review to help more people find their way to us. Anyway, we look forward to having you along for the next part of the journey. And just remember the most important question: what would you like to do?